Ugh, where do I even start with this one? Oh yeah. Welcome, fellow castigators. Today I'll be talking about She-Hulk, a show that kind of exists. It barely qualifies being called a show because it doesn't have that thing we call a story. And that space is filled with people that can barely be called characters. She-Hulk is a long series of scenes where nothing entertaining occurs. Lawyer gets Hulk powers. Lawyer doesn't want Hulk powers. She whines. She goes to a wedding. She complains. She sweats in a hut. She bangs a legacy character who she treats condescendingly. And then the last episode is a wish fulfillment extravaganza where the story void is robbed of a conclusion. It's simple, it's dumb, it's over. You see, the problem with hiring pathetic, undateable, inexperienced narcissists to write your show is that you end up with a lead character who's selfish, impetuous, and overall a sexist pig. Then you have to watch this person stumble her way through situations that no one can relate to. Watching Jen fail at life, all while acting egotistical, spoiled, and misandrous, could be used as a form of torture. I'm so sick of shows like this. I'm so sick of the people who write them. I miss the days where we had well-written, strong female characters without anyone batting an eye. I miss the days where we could have black characters without a studio exploiting or tokenizing them. Most of all, I miss the days where every writer didn't assume that he or she was saving the world by sacrificing story to inject content with their cowardly ideologies. Well, I'm dragging myself down, so before I talk about the show's finale, allow me to reminisce for a moment. Daredevil is without a doubt the best Marvel series of all time. Everything about it works. Plot movement, character development, the cast, the music, and of course, the fight choreography. Matt Murdock and his associates are likable and interesting, but also flawed and complicated. Not to mention, I could not ask for 3 actors better than them. I would give them all the Emmys. All of them! The whole time She-Hulk was flirting, I was screaming, "What about Karen? What about Karen?" The villains in Daredevil are also emotionally tasking, especially Kingpin, who is easily one of the most well-written characters ever. Fisk is imposing, cunning, and powerful. You get the idea very quickly that this is not the man to be involved with. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't even look at Vanessa. I just wouldn't risk it. All these elements are required to make the show work. You take out even one element, and the gaping hole left behind will be obvious. This is why they can't just bring back Charlie Cox in a vaguely similar suit and play his theme for 3 seconds. Not even just having Kingpin will make it feel complete. Everything must be in place. In other words, what about Karen? The spin-off shows weren't too bad either. Luke Cage and Iron Fist were serviceable. I didn't see Punisher, but it seemed generally well-liked. Jessica Jones is the one to nearly match Daredevil in quality, especially the first 2 seasons. Though, if I were to bring anything back, it would be The Defenders. That was an incredibly thrilling 8 episodes and all 4 heroes worked very well together. I will romantically tongue kiss whoever brings Defenders to the big screen with the original cast. Actually, on second thought, I'll save my love for Claire Temple.
I've been really trying, baby.
Well, anyway, back to She-Hulk, sucking at law. In the finale, Jen breaks the fourth wall just as the action is climaxing. She says that the plot is dumb, showing that the writers know perfectly well how lazy they are. Jen hulks out and climbs around the Disney Plus menu, and you can feel the smugness irradiating from the screen. She then invades the She-Hulk writer's room. And I know the show itself is already a whiny, self-insert fanfiction, so did the writers really need to literally put themselves in? Their narcissism knows no bounds. Anyway, after making an unrelatable joke about how long Marvel NDAs are, She-Hulk meets producer Kevin Feige. As it turns out, Kevin is a robot who decides the storylines of Marvel films and shows. Honestly, I can't think of a better allegory for all the lifeless, predictable, and sanitized slog that Marvel has been putting out ever since Stage 4 started. The writers' lack of self-awareness is probably the most impressive thing they've ever pulled off. So, Jen plops herself down and whines like an impetuous child about the show's ending, so that everything gets tied up in a way that shatters whatever suspension of disbelief that was still holding on. Todd gets arrested, Daredevil shows up to be a trophy, Abomination turns himself in, and Titania just kind of walks away. We aren't really shown what happens to her. Basically, Jen gets everything she ever wanted, even though she's done absolutely nothing to deserve it. Next, Matt Murdock gets objectified some more in Jen's parents' backyard. Bruce shows up with his son, and I can't imagine who could possibly care. And in the last scene, Jen says she's a lawyer and a superhero, even though she's a terrible lawyer, and she didn't do any superheroing in the finale. We aren't shown why Jen has a change of heart about being called a superhero, and we aren't shown why anyone would even call her that. In other words, there really isn't an ending to She-Hulk, and it feels like a big screw you to anyone who made it this far. If you're a woman, please comment below, as I'd be really interested to hear what your thoughts on the accuracy of the show are. According to the writers, the show is a realistic portrayal of female struggles. I'll be interested to read if you guys think all women are as vain and self-centered as Jennifer Walters.